In today's short episode, how to check if battery in your e-wheel is damaged, and if it is, how to know what is really wrong with it. Let's just imagine that today is perfect day to ride on your e-wheel. So you are just turning on key and there is nothing on the screen, nothing is happening. You're doing it a couple times and still there is no any info on voltage LCD screen, no lights, like scooter is dead. At that point, I do recommend to smash couple times your e-wheel, maybe it will help. If it will not, then it's starting to be a little bit pricey. First thing which I recommend to do, turn on your e-ride, turn on the lights. Of course, there is still no light sign, nothing is happening. But now connect charger to your e-ride. So in this case, this is my charger, so power supply, and this is charging port, which is charging the battery. And if I will connect the charger and if the lights will turn it on, like in this case, then you've got a problem, because looks like battery is damaged, and believe it or not, in many cases $100 or $200 will be not enough to fix this battery. And if I will disconnect charger and the Escoot will be dead again, then yeah, this is a battery. Let's check it again. So let's connect the charger. It's working. Escoot is alive, but when I disconnect is dead. So yeah, it means that for 99% battery is dead. We did this test because if the Escoot will not turn on when we connect the charger, it means that some wires, so connectors or maybe controller is damaged, but if the Escoot will turn on, then yeah, battery. Of course, you can do one last check before you will have to open the deck and remove battery pack. You can check if there is still some voltage on battery by checking charging port. Actually, in many cases, this is how looks charging port, so this is stock microphone connector, which is really dangerous to use. There is nothing between the pins to prevent from short circuit, so if you've got that kind of port, just skip this step. Because if you will use that kind of probes, if you will do some short circuit, which is kind of possible, you will have really bad day. This is not a toy. But if you've got my XT30 charging connector, then it's kind of easy to check the battery. Actually, the battery got in stock XT30 connector. So just turn on your multimeter, slide in the probes, and we have some reading. We've got 27 volts, which is kind of good because we got some reading, but it's kind of bad because this is 52 volts battery pack, so this reading is way too low. At that point, you know that you have to remove battery pack. Bear in mind, this is not a toy, this is battery pack, don't mess it with it. If you will do some small short circuit, there will be a fire and the water. Or simple fire extinguisher not help. You will have to wait until battery will burn out. So you can lose way more than couple dollars and battery pack. So at that point, are you sure that you want to remove battery pack? Then open it to check it what is wrong with it. Seriously, if you will mess it up something, there will be no forgiveness. So if you are still here, you won't take the risk, then you have to cut a little bit shrink tube, which is around the battery. I cut it from the right side, from the left side, and from the side where is the V-ring. Then I pick it up a little bit, heat shrink tube, and here we can see this plexiglass cover, and under it we've got battery pack and BMS. And now is moment of truth. Two things could be wrong with my battery pack even at the same time. Best possible scenario is that BMS, so the silver thing, is damaged. In this case, you have to buy the same or even better BMS, resolder all those wires, and battery pack will work again. Of course, this is not easy task. If you are newbie, don't do it, because every single tiny wire is going to one series of cells. One small mistake and there is no forgiveness. But the worst possible scenario is that one series of cells or more is damaged and you have to replace it. The problem is that, as you know, cells are connected to each other by nickel strip, which is welded to batteries. And just imagine, you have to cut off one series of cells. I know that shops will charge you extra if you will face that kind of problem, because this is the most dangerous fix which you can face in batteries. So let's check what issue I am facing in my battery pack. Hopefully it will be not problem with series of cells, because I am even pretty scared to fix that kind of thing, but yeah, I will do it, hopefully. Let's do like this, and now we have to check if every single of cells is at the same voltage. This BMS got built-in balancer, which is balancing cells to be at the same voltage. If there be some big difference, then we can find the problem. So at first we have to unpin this long connector. This is balancing port. So let's do it like this. And from the other side, of course, use some plastic tools, don't use metal ones. Okay. And we unpin balancer port. Now we have to use again multimeter. Place GND probe into socket where is ground of your whole battery pack. Like in my case, this is this first pin on balancer port, and this wire is ground of the whole battery pack. Here you can see small wires. Every single wire is connected to one series of cells. So by checking those pins, those wires, we can check what is the voltage for every single series of cells. And the thing is, if the voltage will be almost the same for all series of cells, then battery pack itself is okay, just BMS is damaged and we have to replace it. But if there will be some big difference between the voltage on the cells, we will have to replace those cells which got super low voltage. Like just imagine, first series of cells got 4.2 volts, second one 1 volt, so this 1 volt is way too low, and we'll have to replace this series of cells and maybe even the BMS. So first series of cells got reading at 3.6 volts, which is pretty decent score. So far so good, and every next series of cells should be plus extra this 3.6 volts if of course the balancer is working. So we should expect 3.6 plus 3.6, 7.2 volts at 2S, and we've got 7.8 volts, so it's a little bit more than we can expect, but it's still okay because battery seems to be working and BMS maybe don't have that good balancer, or maybe there is some bigger damage in the battery. On the third S we should expect something like 12 volts. Yep, we've got 12 volts. Here something like 16. So far so good. Voltage is rising, so maybe my battery pack is okay. 20 volts. What about 24? I think. Yep. 29. 20. Yeah. So far so good. And 30 some 29. Are you serious? So over here we had like 28.7, and here we got 29. This is a problem because it looks like I've got the worst possible scenario, and now Pirate seems to be quite sad. I think it was this series of cells, and is it this? Yep, we've got reading half volt, so yeah, I've got the worst possible scenario. One series of cells is literally dead. Let's check if there is no problem on the connector. No, it's 4.2 volts. And here we got also like 5 volts, yeah, 4.6. So yeah, I've got worst possible scenario, but let's check other cells. So far one series is damaged, it's rising 8.8 volts, more than 12 volts, 13 volts, yep, more than 15 volts, great, more than 20 volts, yep, around 25. Yep, so yeah, in my case, one series of cells is damaged. Can you see it, bros? It's half a volt, so this is really bad. If you will face that kind of issue, don't try to fix it. It could be super dangerous. Yep, now Pirate is super sad. So bros, maybe in next episode I will show you how to fix that kind of problem, but when I will do it I will have to be like super focused, because one mistake and yeah, there is lots of fireworks, lots of screams, so actually it could be a fun. So now bros, you know how to check what is wrong with your battery pack and how expensive it could be. In my case it could be super expensive, but yeah, I know how to do it, so it will be not that bad. But for lots of people it could be like it's better to buy new battery pack. So bros, if you have any questions, just leave it in comment section, I will back to you and try to help. But yeah, if you will face any issue with battery pack, if you are newbie, don't try to fix it by yourself. This is not at all.